Okay, so would you ever date Lana or Alexa Bliss? I'm going with Lana. She's married to Rusev.
Ruru.
Yeah.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
You better not say that.
I'm gonna take Rusev for Malcolm. He doesn't know it yet, but it's gonna happen.
You're just not. You're just not. You're not going to. All right? You're not. What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Talk Malcolm Talk, so let's talk. So if you're watching this on a Sunday, tonight is Payback. Where last video I did a bunch of predictions and stuff, so I'm gonna leave that link down in the description, as well as a guy named Andrew. So he's doing like a live stream tonight, watching Payback and doing all that kind of stuff. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers. He has a lot of good ideas on what he's trying to do with his channel, but doesn't necessarily have the views or the subscribers to really go with it. So if you guys can go check out his channel, I'm gonna leave that in the link down in the description as well. So you guys go look at his channel and maybe subscribe if you want to. So WWE, they have a new pay-per-view, and they named it. They gave it a name. It has a name. There was rumors at the start of the year that originally they were going to bring back Bad Blood. I believe they're going to say it was going to be a SmackDown pay-per-view was going to happen during the summer. But now they announced a pay-per-view that's going to be on July 9th in Dallas, Texas. And it's called, for one, it's a Raw pay-per-view. And it's called Great Balls of Fire. Who made that up? That sounds like the name of the next Hunger Games book. Great Balls of Fire. Wrestling's a joke now, isn't it? How do you hashtag that on Twitter? Hashtag WWEGBOF. So what's that? Like GAF. Hashtag WWE GIF. Or you could do hashtag WWE Balls. If you're talking to your friends that don't watch wrestling, I'm going to a wrestling pay-per-view tonight. Like, oh cool, what's the name of it? Great Balls of Fire. Expect to never hear from them again. They're gonna think you're going to some anime convention. Just find new friends at the show. So next up, for Great Balls of Fire. Sounds like Games of Thrones. It's been a little bit since we've seen the red belt on Monday Night Raw. So it's rumored that Brock Lesnar is actually gonna be defending the title at Great Balls of Fire, which I think is gonna be the only selling point of the show. I mean, like, fire's red and orange and yellow, but the belt's red. So, God, it's just not gonna be good, is it? You know, WWE, you know what happens when you name your pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire? You know what happens when you give a pay-per-view such a stupid, idiot name? You just made the list! Does that sound that cringy? And we're just gonna put Vince on this because he approved it. Or, for all we know, he made it up himself. This is the list of Malcolm. Drink it in, man. You look at that shirt carefully. It says, I heart Rusev. You know why? I love Rusev. So Impact viewership numbers actually have dropped down even further. So last week on Impact they had 320,000 views, but this week they only had 255,000 views, which is pathetic. Now don't get me wrong, they're like the only wrestling company besides WWE, and I believe ROH is still on television. I think they just run really late at night. That's actually still on television, so you know, you gotta give them all props because they are still on television. They could have got kicked off a long time ago. At this point, if Pop drops them, you need to be like Lucha Underground, go to Netflix. So I will continue to watch TNA, and when I say watch, I mean turn it on so they get a view out of me, and I will stay on my phone the rest of the time. Because I believe in Impact, and Impact believes in, I don't know. So on SmackDown we saw Jinder Mahal steal the WWE Championship from Randy Orton, and he got into a limo and he popped through the sunroof and was just holding up the WWE title as they drove off. So the guys that are with them, they're called the Bollywood Boys on the independent scene, and also in 205 Live and the Cruiserweight Classic. Off the top of my head, their biggest accomplishment I can think of at the time, besides being like in WWE of course, is winning the GFW or Global Force Wrestling Tag Team Championships. So now the Bollywood Boys, they had completely dropped the name. Like, they're no longer called the Bollywood Boys, they're now called the Singh Brothers. I mean, honestly, it kind of makes sense. Jinder Mahal's like this big bad villain, so like, here's Jinder and his boys. It just sounds like, you know, it just doesn't sound right. That's Dalton Castle's thing. So now they're called the Singh Brothers, so of course they're probably heels now too. And they're now also listed on the SmackDown Live roster with new names. Props to them, because they finally made it on the main roster in WWE. And also they are a tag team, so there's another tag team on SmackDown, which is really good. Because SmackDown already lost the Vaudevillains, because Simon Gotch left. Usos, Breezango, Alpha, New Day, Colognes, if you really want to count them, and then the Ascension. But then again, it's the Ascension. It's been rumored for a minute now, but there's more rumors talking about Nikki Bella leaving WWE. Apparently she's set to quit after she marries John Cena. Because based off rumor, once she gets married to Cena, she kind of just wants to move on and start a life. That's what she wants to do. Then I mean, let her. There's no point of keeping her if she doesn't want to be there. She was already the face of the division. She's the longest reigning Divas champion. Like, the only thing she had to do was maybe win the SmackDown Live Women's title, and that's literally all she could have done. I would actually like to see a heel Nikki Bella versus a heel Sasha Banks. I feel like the promos for that would be really good. I don't know why. I just feel like that would be really cool to see. Honestly, I just found this really funny. So at Source Wrestling, there's two competitors from the UK tournament that face each other. It was Pete Dunne versus Joey Coffey. So like sometime during the match, they went outside the ring. So they were fighting the crowd and whatnot. And eventually, I think Joe Coffey was sat down in a chair. So Pete Dunne actually walks over to some kid and just picks him up and takes the kid's legs and kind of just shoves him into Joe Coffey, and I just found it hilarious. And then while Pete Dunne had him on his shoulders, he also pretended like he was gonna throw him over or something, and the crowd was like, ah! He's not gonna hurt a kid. But I kind of want to see him do it. Is that wrong? Probably. But what's wrong with just throwing him one? Just chuck him. Get the parents to sign off later. So down to NXT, two people actually got released. So there was a backstage interviewer named Andrea DeMarco, I believe is how you say her name. And then I wouldn't really call him a jobber. He really didn't even make his NXT TV debut. I think he had like one match against Eric Young. I think he did a lot of house shows, but his name was Chris Atkins. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. That kind of sucks that, you know, you got fired. I mean, I've been looking for summer jobs. I'm just saying, Panda Express is hiring, man. Make minimum wage and stuff your face with General Toast. I think that's how you say her name, Andrea. She was like super grateful and stuff. She was all thankful for her time in WWE. It was like, man, those are the kind of people that are just gonna do something right with their lives. Cause like, I'm assuming that could have been her dream job, so considering you got fired from it and publicly handled it pretty well, she'll find a job easily. Like, you know, good personality. Go to ESPN or something. John Coachman's up there, you can too. And then finally Charlotte. So Charlotte became the first woman to ever main event SmackDown and Raw and a pay-per-view. She main evented Raw against Sasha a couple times. She main evented SmackDown against Naomi for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. And she main evented a pay-per-view with Hell in a Cell against Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. What else does this woman need to do? 4 to 5-time Raw Women's Champion, last ever Divas Champion, what, like second NXT Women's Champion? She already main evented 3 different WWE shows. All she needs to do is freaking main event SummerSlam or like one of those big 4 pay-per-views, and she can retire without being on the main roster for 5 years. But yeah guys, that was the video. Hope you really enjoyed. So tonight's Payback, so I hope all you guys like it, and maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe while I'm talking, we have new Raw Tag Team Champions with Sheamus and Cesaro, da-da-da-da-da, Sheamus and Cesaro, da-da-da-da-da, Sheamus and Cesaro, da-da-da-da-da. So make sure to like, comment, share, and always subscribe, and we outie.